Thank you, Katie. Good morning. So each year I have the privilege of addressing the congregation during KUC's Mental Health Awareness Sunday. I serve as a liaison to an important mission within the church, which is the Alison, Tobey Smart Memorial Fund. For those of you who don't know, Alison Smart was a member of Kenilworth Union Church, and at age 17, while a freshman in college, tragically she took her own life. To honor Alison's memory and to prevent similar tragic events, Alison's parents, Sue and Jackson, established a memorial fund in their daughter's name. 40 years later, with the help of more than 100 current and former committee members, the fund continues its important work. Why is this work important? Well, according to the JED Foundation, which is a leading nonprofit addressing the mental health of adolescents, more than 1 in 3 young adults between the ages of 18 and 25 experience a mental, behavioral, or emotional health issue within the past year. That's 36.2% of young adults. And this rate is up from 22.1% in 2016. Similar challenges also face a younger age group. Nearly 1 in 5 teens, aged 12 to 17, have had a major depressive episode in the past year. Focusing on high school students specifically, 42% reported feelings of sadness or hopelessness. And it's important to highlight that the percentage is higher amongst females. It's 57%. Among college students, 36% have been diagnosed with anxiety, and 30% have been diagnosed with depression. I could keep going with a lot of different statistics here, but one other fact set that I want to make sure that I share is that according to the CDC, suicide is now the second highest leading cause of death amongst teens and young adults between the ages of 10 and 34. 14% of adults 18 to 25 have had serious thoughts about suicide in the past year. That number increases to 22% with high school students. And finally, 10% of high school students have attempted suicide in the past year. So last night, each year, I've been doing this for about 10 years, and each year I try and re-educate myself on statistics and try and figure out what's going on. And my son was sitting there with me as I was going through and just sort of in awe and shock of all these numbers. I looked at him and I asked him, I was like, do these numbers make sense to you? And it was almost like very casual. It was like, yeah, no, that's just sort of the way things are. And it sort of struck me that we're in an environment right now where the kids recognize what's going on. They see it around them. And fortunately, we're in an environment now where people can talk about it. It didn't always be this way. 10 years ago when I first started doing this, it wasn't really that way. So this is why I stand here and why I keep coming back here each year. The mental health epidemic, it's real, and it makes the work of the Alison Tobey Smart Memorial Fund so important. The fund's programming seeks to reduce suicide and suicide attempts by developing and implementing programs focused on problems common to many young adults, such as substance abuse, self-destructive behavior, and depression. To highlight some of its efforts, ATS contributes to agencies that help strengthen teens' mental health. It sends care packages to our college students, our college freshmen, and celebrates and blesses KUC's graduating seniors at an annual senior brunch. It also distributes awards to young people who've served the community with distinction and offers confidential financial aid to families in need who are struggling to provide treatment for their teenagers. The committee has asked me to highlight one specific event, which Katie was touching on. It's coming this Tuesday. It'll be hosted here in the sanctuary. You should all have received a flyer when you walked in with your bulletin. If you didn't, please see one of the ushers after the service. There are 2 different authors that will be at this event. One is Meg Kissinger, and the second is Trip Fielder. Both are members of our community. Meg actually grew up here, as I understand it. She was one of 9 siblings, and she saw mental health problems to a pretty incredible extent within her family, both with her siblings and with her parents. Trip he sees the subject from a little bit different angle. It was his son that struggled with mental health issues, and he'll be talking about it from his perspective. The discussion is going to be moderated by Renee Dominguez from the Family Service Center, so she'll bring in a professional sort of standpoint on what's going on as well. If you can make it on Tuesday, I would highly recommend it. It's pretty amazing. Meg grew up in Wilmette, so she's from the area. Beyond that, also after the service, if you have a few minutes, there are a bunch of cards that are sitting on a table in there. As I mentioned earlier, we send out Valentines to each of the college freshmen. If you could write a note in there, you don't even need to know the students. They love getting these cards. They all remember getting them, and it's important. So, depression and anxiety are frequently quiet struggles. However, there are warning signs. Indicators include changes in personality, behavior, sleep patterns, eating habits, and just generally a fear of losing control of things around them. We do a lot for our kids. I would argue that even I do too much for my kids, but we can never care too much. We need to stay involved in their lives and let them know that we care about them. It's important to note that counseling services are a critical component in helping protect our youth. Talking about mental health has proven to be such an important tool in improving mental health. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not a doctor. I'm a parent of 3 boys, and I can tell you, please talk to your kids when you see any of these signs. So with all of this, I'm proud to report that the mission of the Alison Tobey Smart Memorial Fund continues today, 40 years later, bringing awareness to mental health and support to the youth of the church and the surrounding community. Once again, thank you, and God bless.